33 tits and... I knew this was going to happen. I told you. 33 tips and tricks and truths. Let's talk about them. Ramadan Kareem everyone. Hope you've had a wonderful day so far. My name is Nixon Dice and you are watching Smelly Cat. Today's video is not a review. I thought I'd do something different and give you a handy list of tips and tricks and truths. I said it right this time, about fragrances. Now in no way am I an expert on this topic, but hey, these are my own learnings. They've helped me, so I thought why not share it with you guys as well. Now the video might get very long, so let's dive straight into it. Number one, Middle Eastern doesn't necessarily mean clones. Now here's a misconception a lot of people have, that every scent to come out of the Middle East is a clone. While they do offer you great alternatives at an amazing price, they're also a lot more than that. Every time I do a review of any new fragrance, people keep commenting saying, what is this a clone of, or what is this an alternative of? Which is, it's expected, but it's, like I said, not always the case. In fact, there are quite a lot of popular scents out there that have actually been inspired by Middle Eastern fragrances. Believe it or not, Parfums de Mali's Latin or Angelic from Bodecha the Victorious are actually oils that I've smelled 10 years back. Initio's side effect is actually very similar to a sweet amber cinnamon scent or Mukallad that I had tried way back in 2010. So yeah, Middle Eastern doesn't always mean clones. Number two, expensive doesn't automatically mean good. I have $10 fragrances in my collection that will give the $100 fragrances a run for their money. So just because it's cheap doesn't automatically make it bad. Number three, synthetic isn't bad. The word synthetic has become synonymous with smelling bad, when it actually just means man-made. As someone who's studying perfumery at the moment, let me tell you this. Natural ingredients are very, very hard to work with. They also don't smell exactly like you imagine them to. The end products in most cases are raw and rough around the edges, and I could say to most people that it's an acquired taste. And that's why every big brand uses synthetic ingredients in some way or the other. So synthetic doesn't necessarily mean bad. Number four, perfume is not equal to deodorant. It will not mask your bad smell. So if you haven't showered and you're not taking care of your personal hygiene, a perfume will only make things worse. So don't go expecting the perfume to come in and be a savior, because it's not going to be like that. Also, know where to spray. A lot of people pick a bottle and go straight for their armpits. That's not the way to do it. Use your pulse points and you should be fine. If you're using a deodorant on the other hand, or an antiperspirant, then yeah, your armpits should be the place you use it, but not for perfumes. Number five, beast mode is overrated. You heard me right. Stop chasing fragrances that have nuclear projection and someone in another city near you can smell you. Most of the time, people don't want you imposing your fragrances on them. In fact, the classy ones are the ones that stick slightly close to you, and when someone comes, in your vicinity, they get a whiff of it and they're pleasantly surprised. Those are the ones that get more compliments than the ones that are, brash and loud. Number six, do not blind buy. No matter how many positive reviews you see online, do not blind buy. It may be 4.7 on Fragrantica, 8.8 on Parfumo.net, your favorite fragrance reviewers going crazy on his YouTube thumbnail. Do not blind buy. Always try before you buy, and that brings me to my next point. Number seven, buy samples and decants. Not only is it an economical and convenient way for you to try new fragrances before you buy the full bottle, it's also great and handy when you're traveling. So I'd suggest before you buy a full bottle, see if there's someone who decants or has samples of a fragrance that you're interested in, and there's no harm in trying before you buy. Number eight, reapply. A lot of people are afraid of this. You feel your fragrance isn't lasting through the day. It doesn't have to. Just reapply. Carry a decant like I told you, a sample with you. If you have a fragrance that you already like, put it into a decanter bottle, carry it to work with you. You feel it's going a little lighter, reapply, refresh and enjoy it all over again. Number 9, do not overspray. A lot of people do this, including me till a couple of years back. This comes down completely to the scent though. So if it's something light and easy, yes, you could go a couple of extra sprays, but my suggestion in general is do not overspray. Fragrances are not made for you to apply a lot of. 6 to 8 sprays I think is the ideal for any kind of scent. But again, if it's a strong scent, 3 to 4 is more than enough. Instead, why don't you do point number 10? Number 10, moisturize, moisturize, moisturize. I know you've heard this a million times and it may seem like a very basic tip, but a lot of people fail to do this. Dry skin is a fragrance's worst enemy. If you want to get the best out of your fragrance, I'd suggest using a light or mild or even a fragrance-free moisturizer like I do. I use this one. I'm not sure if it's a good brand or not. It does really help me a lot. Another tip is to use a moisturizer that is similar to the scent that you're going to wear. For example, I have this one, which is Jenny Glow's hand and body cream, which is wood and sage. Now this one, for those who don't know, smells like Joe Malone's wood, sage and sea salt. It actually helps me bring out the longevity in Joe Malone's wood, sage and sea salt, which is one of my wife's fragrances. Number 11, layer your fragrances. Don't be afraid to do this. Don't listen to people who shame others who do this. Mix and match, experiment. Sometimes it won't work, but when it does, it's just magical. I have so many combos that I've tried and that really work for me. Let me know if you're interested in this. I'm not sure if people are interested in layering fragrances or are looking for fragrance combos. If you do, I can make a separate video on it. If I get enough comments in the comment section asking me to do it, then why not? Number 12, pair them with oils. If you find a fragrance oil that works well with the fragrance that you're wearing, either it's exactly the same fragrance that you're wearing or it's something that makes a unique combo, I would say do it. For example, over here I have Luxador's Gerfalcon. For those who know, Gerfalcon is actually Creed Aventus inspired scent, and this oil is actually very, very strong. So whenever I wear any Creed Aventus inspired fragrance, even Creed Aventus, because it's very light on my skin, whenever I wear Creed Aventus or any inspired fragrance, I use this oil to sort of boost the scent, and it works really well. This is actually my second bottle. You can imagine how much I've gone through, and not only with Aventus, I pair this up with other scents and it really works well. Number 13, subscribe to your favorite fragrance channels. Yep, like this one that you're on right now. Most of us make absolutely no money out of this. We're doing it because we're just passionate about it and we love perfumes and we like coming in front of camera and sharing our experiences with others like you. So if you like a fragrance review, I'm not just saying my channel, any channel that you think is helpful to you and you like the content, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, and motivate them to do more. Trust me, it means a lot to us. Number 14, you don't need a signature scent. I have over 600 fragrances and I do not have a signature scent yet. You heard me right. You do not need a signature scent. Signature scent is overrated. Let them remember you as the guy who smells good rather than the guy who smells like that one particular fragrance, right? Number 15, one fragrance is more than enough. I am shameless. I know I just told you that I have 600 fragrances and now I'm coming up and saying that one fragrance is more than enough. But believe me, it is. If you find a fragrance that works for you in all settings, you don't really need a white shirt fragrance or a night out fragrance or a clubbing fragrance or a date night fragrance. There are scents that actually can work in multiple settings. And if you find that, why not use just that one fragrance? And if you're someone who is probably in college and still studying, do not waste your money on buying a lot of fragrances only because someone like me on YouTube is telling you that this is really amazing. Just remember though, find a scent that works, like I said, in different settings and you should be fine. Number 16, do not buy off Instagram sellers. If they have several underscores and special characters and dots in their name, avoid them. If they spell fragrance wrong, avoid them. If they have the word cheap or discount or budget in their name, avoid them. You know what? Scratch all of that. Avoid Instagram sellers altogether. If you really want to find better prices than those you find on online websites, I would suggest to the next point. Number 17, join local fragrance groups on Facebook. Some of the most legit sellers are actually on fragrance groups. Not only are the prices great, you can also ask the other members in the community for a legit check. If you're buying for the first time, just mention their name in the community, and then people who've already bought from them or interacted with that person will, help you in the comments. Honestly, these fraccoms are really helpful, and if you haven't joined one yet, I'd strongly suggest you do so now. Here are a couple that I'm part of. There's Fracom Bangladesh, Fragrance Junkies, Fragrance Marketplace, Fragrance Addicts India. So depending on where you live, find a community that you can be part of. Not only is it helpful in learning about new fragrances, seeing what others are wearing, but when you also end up looking to buy something, you'll find the best prices there. Number 18, take reviews with a pinch of salt. Ironic coming from me, I know, but while there are a lot of genuine helpful reviewers on YouTube and Instagram, not everything that you hear from everyone is going to be 100% true or even relevant to you. Now we can all act like this doesn't happen, but come on, it does. Reviewers do get free stuff, and sometimes they can be persuaded into giving a positive review about a certain fragrance, especially when they get a cut when the fragrances are sold. All you need to do is watch for the red flags. Here are some of them. 1, reviewers who buy fragrances do a review, say it's the best thing in the world, and in the same week you see them selling it back in the market saying 2 or 3 sprays missing. No harm in doing that if you're in urgent need of funds, if it's not your kind of fragrances, but don't hype something saying, oh my god, this is amazing, and then the next week or the week itself you see them selling it saying, I just use this for a review and I want to sell it now. So there's something fishy there that when you watch their review doesn't really add up, because they say it's amazing, then why are they selling it? I recently unfollowed someone who does this a lot. In fact, in one of their reviews I saw them using a wrong bottle. They were talking about a different scent, trying to hide what they had, used a flanker of it. I'm not sure if you also follow them. I'm not going to take names, it's just not my jam. Number 2, sellers who do reviews. Now there's absolutely no harm in doing reviews, so that if you're a seller and you want to sell your fragrances and you want to tell people about it, absolutely no harm, but just follow the right people. For example, Joy Amin, he sells fragrances, but I can blindly trust him because he says it as it is, and he will never hype something just because he's eventually going to sell it. He does give you the good points about things, but he also says what's wrong with it, what are things that you won't like. So at the end of the day, when you end up buying, you're not going to regret it. Number 3, Fragrantica reviews. Yes, Fragrantica used to be a great place to go read reviews, but now it's it's nothing like it used to be. In fact, it's laughable at times. People are just so, I don't know what it is. It's just people trying to bring down fragrance brands for some reason. Easily you can get people to go review your fragrance and give it a higher rating. The moral of the story is that take reviews with a pinch of salt. Number 19, your location matters. Don't expect an Amouage interlude to smell the same that it does when it's 10 degrees in Calgary and 45 degrees in Kolkata. Buy fragrances according to where you live or where you're going to wear it most of the time. Number 20, no perfume sucks. Not even Secretions Magnifiques, and that is supposed to smell like blood and sweat and saliva and sperm and milk. How you perceive a scent is going to be very different from how I perceive it. So if you like a scent and you are comfortable with it, go on, wear it. Number 21, panty droppers don't exist. A woman's panties aren't going to magically drop just because you smell a certain way. So grow up, don't go looking for panty droppers because no such thing exists. Unless of course you're wearing Axe deodorant. Number 22, don't judge too quickly. Have you noticed how a lot of designer scents recently have amazing top notes, smell great in the first 10-15 minutes, and then when you reach the dry down, they smell kind of meh. They have specifically been created to wow you in that first few seconds. They want you to buy smelling just the top notes. Believe me, I almost had an argument with one of my lecturers about this topic. We were talking about the commercial side of perfumery and how we need to start learning how to make things smell great in this first 5 to 10 seconds. I don't agree with it. I think that people should start learning to give fragrances time and enjoy the dry down, because at the end of the day, that is something that you'll spend most of the time with. So don't rush and always take your time with fragrances. Number 23, wear women's fragrances. Men, do it. I do it all the time. Wear women's fragrances. Just because there's perfume written on a bottle, don't let it stop you. If you like it, if you're comfortable with it, if it's part of your personality, enjoy scents. I wear a lot of my wife's scents. And you know what? Women, you do the same. My wife wears my fragrances more than I do. So don't let like a pour-homme or a perfume on a bottle, decide or dictate what you should be wearing. Number 24, give it a few sprays. Don't ask me the science behind it because I genuinely don't know. I brought this topic up with one of my lecturers as well, but he had no answer to it as well. Fragrances do get stronger, some of them at least, especially the ones you'll notice that are made in the Middle East. Fragrances do get stronger after a few sprays. This I've seen happen to my own fragrances. The first few sprays were really light, but then it got stronger over time. Not only that, it starts smelling like it's supposed to or it's intended to. So if you bought something and the first few sprays are light, give it some time and it should be fine. Number 25, olfactory fatigue is real. Before you go around saying that you can't smell your SOTD, you should know that your brain consciously tries to block out certain odors after, prolonged exposure to it, so that there's no sensory overload and your brain can focus on other things rather than keep telling you that you're smelling good. So even if you can't smell something that you're wearing and then of it being a great performing scent, don't worry too much, because most probably it's olfactory fatigue. And if you have a friend who you're really close to, go and ask them if you can still smell it. Most probably the answer will be yes. Number 26, skin chemistry matters. Everyone's skin reacts to scents differently. A lot of people come and tell me that, this scent is not lasting. It smells, you said it has more pineapple, but it's, very musky on my skin. Everyone's skin is different. The amount of hair you have on your skin, how dry is your skin type, all of it matters when it comes to how a scent is going to react with you. What I'm trying to say is that it's better to always, if you like a scent, test it on your skin to see how it reacts with you. Sometimes it's very different when you smell it up close, but in the air it's going to be very different. So take those things into account when you're picking a scent for yourself. Number 27, don't get hung up on concentration. Yes, as a general rule, eau de cologne is the lightest concentration. Then there's EDT, EDP, pure perfume, extrait de perfume, and so on. But you need to also understand that all EDCs or EDTs aren't going to be lighter than an EDP or a perfume or an extrait de perfume. So don't get hung up on the concentration. What I'm trying to say is that it all depends on the quality of ingredients and the oils that are used. So someone who makes cheap knockoff clones using really cheap oil can have an extrait de perfume or like 40 to 50% oil in their perfume, but an EDT which has like 15 to 20% in it will still outperform the extract. So see where the perfume is coming from, which brand you're buying. Is it a cheap knockoff, All of those things really matter, so don't get hung up with the concentration. Number 28, don't go crazy at the store. Going out to buy something, do not test more than 3 to 4 fragrances in one night. I know it's easy to get carried away, especially when you're at the store and then you want to try everything. What I'm trying to say is the lesser you try, the less confused you're going to be, and the better your chance of picking up something that you like. Number 29, don't be afraid of oud. First of all, roughly 99% of the fragrances that have oud in the name don't really have real oud in them. So, one, don't let that scare you. And even the ones that have real oud in them shouldn't really scare you. Oud can be one of the most heavenly notes if done right, if used in the right setting and in the right temperature. It's one of those notes that will always smell better in the air than directly sniffing it. So don't sniff it and say, oh, it smells like a barnyard, oh, it smells like a dead horse or whatever. You know, people say that a lot. Give it a chance, use it the right way, and you will start enjoying it. Number 30, store your fragrances at the right temperature. Keep them away from direct sunlight, in a cool, dark place. This means no keeping it in your car, no putting it in your bathroom. If you have a guest washroom like I do, I have a guest washroom that doesn't have a shower there, so the temperature doesn't keep changing and it's always chilled. So I keep one there for my guests, which is okay, but don't keep your entire collection in your bathroom. Whether you're having a hot shower one time and then the AC is full blast the other, it will ruin your fragrances. So avoid doing that. Number 31. Check out checkfresh.com. Bought something you're not sure of, looking to find which year your fragrance was made, check out checkfresh.com. It's a place where you can go put in the batch that is written on your bottle. Usually it's at the bottom of the bottle and in the box. See that they match. If they don't, there's something wrong. If they do, put it on checkfresh.com and see when your fragrance was made and whether it's legit. One caveat though, sometimes there are some brands that are not featured over there, and the other thing is that also fragrance manufacturers tend to repeat their batches every 10 years. So if you have an old perfume that has a new batch code, don't get alarmed. Number 32, pick the right occasion. Now if you remember in one of my earlier points, I did say that one scent is more than enough. While there are scents that can be worn anywhere and at any time, there are some that have been made specifically keeping a certain setting in mind or a certain sort of climate or temperature in mind. If you happen to own any of these scents, make sure you use them in the right setting. Otherwise, you're just going to annoy people around you. And no matter how good this scent is, there's no way they're going to get impressed. Let me give you an example. Think of Oud al-Lail. Yeah? Imagine wearing Oud al-Lail at the beach. Disaster. Those who know, know. Number 33, have fun, do it with love. Here is the last tip on the list. Just have fun with it. Do it with love. People get too serious with fragrances. They fight about batches. If you like a fragrance, you're having fun with it, you're loving it, just enjoy it and you should be fine. The more you enjoy it, the more you're going to love it and the less it's going to seem like a task. So lighten up a little, have fun with your fragrances. If you have any questions, that reminds me, ask me in the comments. If you have your own tips, why not leave it in the comments? I love learning. Like I said, I'm no expert on this topic. I'm just giving you points that have really helped me. But hey, if you have points that have helped you, leave it in the comments because this will help me as well. Until next time, keep smelling amazing.